It's Kai. Today we are going to be doing a brand breakdown, which is where I take a fragrance brand and I rank and review all of the fragrances I've tried from them. And today we are going to do 5 scents because I have their discovery set in addition to their newest fragrance, Happy Tears. And I've wanted to talk about this discovery set for a while. I originally wanted to upload this video in May because that was AAPI month. The brand owner has Indian ancestry, so I really wanted it to work out that way. But I've honestly just kind of been in this imposter mode type of mood where I don't want to film without a full face of makeup on, or I feel like, oh, I have to film with a full face of makeup for people to take me seriously and all of that type of stuff. So I've been putting off filming this video and honestly anything. And I finally got to the point where I was just like, just film the fucking video. So here I am with not a full face of makeup on, just a little blush, mascara, and a lip stain. And we are going to rank and review all of these anyway. I also wanted to talk about this because I noticed a lot of people had purchased this during the Sephora sale with my affiliate link, which if you did, I really appreciate that. I'm always appreciative of anyone who uses my affiliate links and codes and stuff like that. And since there was some interest around it, I figured it would be a good one to rank and review and talk about. So anyway, let's just stop the chatter and get into this video. So 5 Scents is kind of an independent niche type of brand that you can find in Sephora, and they're pretty affordably priced. I'll put all of the information up on the screen because I don't have my iPad to be able to tell you guys, but I'm pretty sure their discovery set was only $25, which I would say is pretty good. You get 5 different fragrances to try, and I'm sure they'll probably be making a new discovery set to include their newest fragrance, but you can probably still get this one, and you might even be able to find it for a discount because I know Sephora sometimes discounts stuff when they're about to release a new edition or there's a packaging update or something like that. The fragrances that are in this particular discovery set, which is all of the fragrances in their line currently, with the exception again of Happy Tears. Sorry, I don't want to continue to qualify that, but I just want to make sure that I'm being accurate when I'm talking about this. But basically all of the fragrances that they have are Life of the Party, In Too Deep, Catch Feelings, Burn For You, Twin Flame, and then Happy Tears. And with these fragrances that were in their original discovery set before their newest launch, I would say that these are fragrances that have a popular DNA, or popular perfume DNA rather, and it just makes some slight tweaks to that DNA. So I wouldn't say that they are dupe fragrances at all, but they definitely, again, kind of remind you of some of the more popular scents that are currently floating around. The only one that, in my opinion, smells really unique to me, or at least I haven't sniffed anything in my collection that smells exactly like it or that has the same DNA, I would say is Happy Tears. And partially for that reason, Happy Tears is my favorite, but Happy Tears is also just a fragrance that has a lot of notes that I gravitate toward, and I feel like it's one that I would never say anything is safe to buy without sampling or sniffing first. But if you really just couldn't get yourself to sniff this or don't have a Sephora near you or anything like that, I would say if you like some of the notes that this one has, it's a pretty safe one for you to try. So the notes, all of them are orange blossom, Arabian jasmine, white peach, vanilla, and creamy musk. And you really get that white peach or like a juicy peach type of note. It's definitely fresh, again, juicy and fruity, but I feel like the other notes in here, the orange blossom, the white musk, all of those really make this kind of smell like peach scented dryer sheets. There's just this very clean softness, and specifically, you know, like April Fresh, how it has that really, it's like floral, but it's also clean, but there's also something there. It might be fruitiness. I would love to know what the exact notes or like what the April Fresh fragrance is, you know, Downy April Fresh. I would love to know the exact notes and what exactly it is, but it kind of again smells a little bit almost sweet and then clean, and then a little bit floral. And that's how this one is, again, to me, just with more peach and like a fruity aspect to it. Because it has that cleanliness there, this is a really easy one to just throw on at any point. I really enjoy this. And again, it's my favorite. Of course I enjoy it, but I just feel as though this one is for the people who want something light, fresh, easy for the spring, summertime, and honestly year round. I would wear this year round because I don't mind smelling like laundry detergent or laundry sheets year round, but definitely for the spring and summertime, that's a really pretty light one. Now into the sample set, I would probably say that my second favorite is In Too Deep from them. And this is a fragrance that if you've smelled something like Skylar Boardwalk Delight, it's similar to that without the very fruity raspberry note. I feel like this, you get more of the sparkling, light, fluffy, vanilla, marshmallowy almost type of vibe. Even though it's sweet, again, because it's one of those lighter types of vanillas, it's one that I feel like you can get away with in the spring and summertime without it being too overwhelming or sweet and cloying and just making your stomach turn. But obviously, if you like sweet scents for the winter and fall time, you'll definitely enjoy this one. All of the notes in this are Tahitian vanilla, Italian bergamot, sparkling sugar, Australian sandalwood, and musk. So again, one of those very light, fluffy vanilla type of fragrances. My next favorite would probably be Life of the Party, which a lot of people, I don't know, I feel as though Baccarat Rouge is getting a lot of shit for being a very popular recommended fragrance, and a lot of people wear it or wear copies of it or, you know, all of that deal. But I feel as though there's a reason that the Baccarat Rouge DNA works. This is one that admittedly does smell a little bit like that Baccarat Rouge DNA, but remember, none of these smell exactly like the fragrances that they necessarily kind of correspond to or that they bring to mind for me. They smell like those DNA, but just with a little something different. And so this one for me is that Baccarat Rouge DNA with more peach added into it, which I actually really like. I prefer that to the original Baccarat DNA because it just gives it an extra lightness. And I really enjoy fruity scents. I enjoy peach in general. I don't feel like the peach perfumes in their line are competing with each other. They're definitely two different types, even though to some people, because of the amberiness of Baccarat Rouge, it can kind of have that like high-end clean smell, but I feel like it's different than laundry smell, if that makes sense. The notes in this one are blackcurrant, peach blossom, midnight jasmine, and ambrox. Again, if you like Baccarat Rouge, but you're looking for something that's maybe just a little bit different than the classic Baccarat, this might be something that you'd be interested in trying. My next favorite would be Catch Feelings, and this one is the one you want to sniff if you enjoy Delina-esque fragrances. I do find this to be a little bit lighter, a little bit tartar. It doesn't have that like smoky or powdery incense note, and it's just not quite as sweet as Delina. And again, it's one where I almost prefer this to the original DNA. Even out of the Delinas, my favorite Delina is Delina La Rosée, which is the lightest and most like green, less sweet floral of all of them. And this one is like an even lighter version of that, but without so much green stemminess. It's sweet, but not too sweet. Again, it has a little bit of tartness there that I feel like breaks up the sweetness and gives it a little bit of a different vibe than just the classic lychee and rose combination, or lychee. I don't really know which way is the proper way. I've heard lychee literally all of my life, and then people started saying, no, it's actually lychee. And so I just give it up to the ghost at that point. The notes in this are lychee or lychee, ruby, grapefruit, damask rose, vetiver roots, and suede. And I don't really feel like I get much of like the suede in this. Maybe something that kind of makes it a little bit grounded. But again, I really get the ruby grapefruit. I think that's where a lot of the tartness is coming from. And grapefruit is usually a note that I don't love in perfume. I feel like it come off a little bit too much, a little bit too like puckering your mouth type of tart. But in here, it just, again, it cuts the sweetness so that it's really balanced. I, again, like this better than the DNA that it's inspired by, if I'm being completely candid. My next favorite would be Burn For You, and this is their kind of replica by the fireplace impression, but I feel as though this one is a little bit warmer and it's less smoky, and it leans a little bit more into the spicy vanilla with the clove note that is in here than, again, it having like that really burnt undertone that By the Fireplace has. Now, I really like the burnt undertone of By the Fireplace, so I feel as though I gravitate more towards that. I feel like the smokiness in that gives it a little bit more of a unisex vibe, and again makes it a little bit less sweet, and I just feel as though there's certain instances where that is what I want out of the fragrance. But this one, if I'm looking for something that's just more sweet, or honestly if I'm looking to just kind of play up and add a little bit of oomph to By the Fireplace, I will mix the two together. The notes in this are Atlas cedarwood, Madagascar vanilla, clove leaf, cashmere musk, and amber. And again, it's just really warm, cozy, but doesn't have the smokiness that By the Fireplace does. Also, with clove, this is kind of like a witchy tip interlude, or what, intermission, is that the right word? But one of the things I like to do for practical magic, just kind of like day-to-day everyday magic, is to use perfume with certain notes that evoke certain things that I want. So for instance, clove is known for, well, some domination magic, but it's also been known like to help you get something that's lost back. So I actually had lost my key fob for my apartment, and I put this on with the intention of finding my key fob. Literally was like going everywhere trying to find it, could not find the key fob, and it still ended up getting returned to me. So I kind of am like that person. Everyone can believe what they want, but I like to believe that this is kind of my, oh, I need something, I need to be in a certain mindset, kind of similar to By the Fireplace. I need to be in a certain mindset, I need to be that girl. This kind of has that for me. So again, that's just my witchy tip if you want to have a little bit of practical magic. Same thing as like wearing certain colors on certain days, or wearing certain colors during certain rituals and all of that. If you guys want a video on some of that stuff, I would be willing to talk about it. I just really don't talk about my practice much because I feel like it's something not a lot of people would care about. Most people are here for like the makeup and perfume and sometimes me talking, but there's also aspects of my beauty routine that are intertwined with my spiritual practice. So again, would be willing to talk about those. Anyway, moving on to the last fragrance, and my least favorite, not because it's a bad fragrance. Again, this is a house where I really do like all of the fragrances genuinely. This one is just my least favorite because it's a sandalwood fragrance, and anyone who knows me knows that sandalwood is not typically my favorite type of scent profile. The Santal 33, all of those, it's just usually not my favorite because they tend to pickle me. This isn't one that pickles me, so I am grateful that it doesn't pickle me, and I think it's because this has a cucumber leaves note in it, and cucumbery type of fragrances sometimes come off a little bit more watery, so I think that kind of like gets rid of, even though you would think because a pickle is just cucumbers like in briny water, or briny vinegar rather, you would really think that the cucumber would make it more pickly. I don't know how that works out, but somehow this one does not make me smell like pickles. And if you guys ever want a story time about why I hate fragrances that make me smell like pickles, outside of the fact that I don't feel as though pickles is necessarily something that everyone is jumping to smell like specifically. I know a lot of people enjoy pickles, and even me on a burger, I can enjoy a little sprinkle. Like if the pickles got put on the burger, I can take them off and enjoy a little bit of the pickly taste. But pickles overall, again, I have stories, man. So I can tell them, but I feel like we don't need to tell them today. Anyway, the notes on this one: cucumber leaves, cardamom, osmanthus blossom, Indian sandalwood, and white musk. So it's one of those Santal 33, very smooth, creamy type of sandalwoods. Not really super woody per se. I feel like sandalwood definitely, or a lot of sandalwood fragrances usually come off a little bit more creamy for me. And then there's also a little bit of warmth with the cardamom, which could also be part of the reason why it doesn't quite smell so pickly. There's just a little bit more warmth there than some of the other sandalwood fragrances I've tried before. But anyway, that is the whole ranking and review of all of the 5 Sens fragrances. Let me know if you've tried any of these. Those of you guys who did purchase this set with my link, please let me know if you like the fragrances. I would love to hear your thoughts on them, if you like them or didn't like them. I know that I have like a really wide net when it comes to fragrances that I like, so sometimes it can seem like I like everything, but in reality, it is just because again, I can kind of cast a wide net. I'm learning about perfumery, so I am just, smelling everything. And again, there's a lot of things that even if they're not necessarily good smells or smells that people would often associate with something good, they have scent memories for me or something attached to them for me that make them enjoyable for me. Scent is very subjective, but again, I would love to hear your thoughts on these if you've tried them. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy wherever you are when you're watching this, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.